We know that lots of people are struggling with money after being furloughed, giving up work to care for a loved one, or even being made redundant. And with cuts to benefits and increasing energy prices, many people will be worrying about how they'll manage. I'm here with Amy Davis, a debt and money advisor at No Limits, to find out what you can do if you're struggling with money and when to get help. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
So firstly, what are some of the early warning signs that you might need to take action about your finances?
So I think times are hard at the moment, but some first signs can be just that you're being left with less money each month, that you find that you're having to borrow money, whether sort of you're looking to get loans out or borrowing from friends and family, increased credit cards bills and running up, and going overdrafts. And just finding yourself not able to pay for your essentials like food, and other things. They're sort of first indicators that it might be a good idea to get help.
Okay, I see. And should people take action, or can they just wait for things to get better?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's never too soon to ask for help if you're feeling like money is causing you stress. And quite often it can be a really simple thing to get help with. And if you're owing money, the creditors, the people that you owe money to, they're quite often keen to help as well. And there's a lot of things that they can do, but of course they can't help if they don't know. So whether it's getting in touch yourself or coming out, getting help from a debt advisor, like us at No Limits, it's really important and easy, quite often really easy.
Brilliant. Okay, so it sounds like it's important to take action rather than just leaving it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what if someone has already maybe left their debts for a little while because they've not been able to deal with it? They've got a lot of other things going on. They might already have a court letter or maybe even a bailiff letter. Is there still help they can get?
Yeah, absolutely. At every stage, there's help that we can give, and there's things that you can do. So whether it's that the creditor has already been to court, or that you are now getting letters from bailiffs, there's things that we can do, like check that the bailiff is acting legally, and check that the debt is even correct, that it's money you do actually owe, and even sometimes get the debt written off, or get the debt taken back by the company that you first owed it to. So yeah, there's always things that we can do.
That's really useful. So it sounds like even when it's got to those stages that people find quite scary, there's still all sorts of help available and things that can be done. Great. And this leads me nicely on to my next question, actually. So we know that money worries are really, really stressful for people, and lots of people, particularly at the moment, have already got plenty to worry about in other areas of their lives. What would you say to anyone who feels they just can't think about it at the moment?
I think a lot of people that I see around debt advice, I think it's not something that people want to deal with money. It's not a fun thing, and quite often it can sort of build up quite quickly into something that you just sort of want to sort of bury your head in the sand about. But the young people that I see tell me that it's sort of a weight lifted the first time they come in and see us, and we might spend an hour or two just sort of phoning companies or going through the letters, and it's that first step, and once that's made, it's the situation can become quite easily manageable. So I really encourage people to sort of reach out and get help, sorry, I think I've forgotten your question, but But yeah, I'd just encourage people to come and get help. And one of the first things that we'd do is go through a budget or a financial statement, and that's just a really useful way to see sort of what money people have got coming in and going out, and see where the money is going, and if there's savings that can be easily made, you know, it can be a really useful thing to do.
Brilliant. Okay, so really that first step is the hardest, and I've heard that's from some of our other debt advisors as well, that it's that making the first call, deciding that you're going to get help, that's the hardest bit. And actually once people speak to someone, they just feel relieved that they're getting the help, that there is a way forward.
Yeah.
And what about if someone has mental health problems or they're vulnerable for some other reason? Is there anything extra that can be done to help with that situation?
Yeah, there absolutely is. So yeah, if you've got sort of additional vulnerabilities, creditors, the people that you owe money to, can sort of freeze, can put your account on hold. So if you're just not in a position to address that at the moment, then that can be an option. And you know, as well as if you've got a lot else going on in life, then you know it can be just really difficult to think about sort of money and debt. So having a debt advisor on board can just sort of take that worry away off your shoulders a bit. And
Yeah, I see. So really, whatever someone's situation, it's best to get that help, and people can have the extra support if they need it.
Yes.
Okay, so say for example, I'm in quite the early stages of worrying about my money. I've had maybe a few red bills, no court letters yet. Where should I start? What's the best thing for me to do first of all?
So it depends. There's a lot of really useful information online. The Citizens Advice website is great, and it's a good place to know, you know, that the information on there is up to date. And if you feel able to do that, then that's great. And if you've got you know, a computer at home with internet, then that's a good place to start. But if you need a bit more help and advice, then yeah, get in touch with either us at No Limits or one of the other places. And it might be that we give you a few pointers over the phone, or it might be that you come in and see us, and we can go through things together.
Okay. Yeah. So it might be that I could sort some things out myself using information from the internet, or possibly if I didn't have internet access or couldn't use the phone, then I might speak to someone another way and actually get advice. Are there any other reasons that people might specifically want to get advice rather than just trying to sort things out themselves?
I suppose if people feel they just don't know where to start, you know, quite often when I start working with somebody around debt, they've sort of got a big carrier bag full of letters that they've just stashed away because they just don't know what to do, or they don't feel they've got their sort of headspace to kind of pick up the phone and deal with it. So yeah, if it just feels like it's got to a point where you don't know where to start with it, or you know, it is in the beginning stages, and yeah, equally you don't know what to do. You've got a letter through the door and you feel a bit panicked because you haven't got the money to pay it, then okay. So particularly if the situation's quite complicated by the sounds of it. And what about if people have had letters about the really important stuff or something really urgent? So maybe their landlord's written to them saying they're going to be evicted, or their fuel company is saying the energy will be cut off, or there's a bailiff letter saying they're going to visit. What about that? Is that something people can sort themselves? Yeah, so especially if it's rent that you're owing, or a mortgage. I mean, with our young people, it's most likely rent, but your living costs or council tax, they're considered priority, and we'd want you to get help sort of as soon as possible for those.
Okay, so there's those kind of really key things: housing, fuel, council tax, that absolutely it's important to get help. Okay. Brilliant. That's all been really useful. So just to summarise, what's the single most important thing you think people should do if they're concerned about their money?
Get help. Yeah, get in touch. It's yeah, it needn't be a big thing, and that's what we're here to do. And quite often it can be a quick and easy thing to get sorted. Yeah, and that first step is always the hardest.
That's lovely. Thank you, Amy. So really, you know, if you're even starting to think about it, it sounds like it's the right time to take action. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave you with the contact details of debt advice agencies in Southampton, and please do get in touch if you feel you may need help. Thank you. Thank you for listening to our Debt and Money Advice Bite-sized session today. And please do have a look at the other sessions available to find out more about getting help with your money. I'm going to leave you with the contact details of the 4 registered debt advice providers, which are local to Southampton. And at the bottom there, you can also see a link to find details of other providers, for example, national telephone and online services. Thank you for listening.